I realized something needed to be done. I did a lot of research. I visited a lot of memory care units that were near me so that she could be near me and so on. But it was all very mechanical. I did it because I knew I needed to do it, but it was all in my head and in my heart, in the sense that I wanted to keep her safe and have her be content, which was a very romanticized view, I might add. There was no contentness for her in this process. It was not content at all. And there wasn't, looking back on it, there's not much I could have changed about that. But I really didn't feel it until afterwards. And I think that's probably part of the reason that the writing came before I took the classes and so on, is that I was doing the work that I couldn't do because it would have derailed me. I would have been dysfunctional if I realized what was happening. And my mother was second generation, potentially third generation Alzheimer's. From the stories that I hear about my great-grandfather, it's likely that he also had it. My grandmother had it. I was old enough when she really started to deteriorate that I was aware of what was going on. I was aware of how my mother handled it. And so I had a bit of a roadmap relative to my mother's opinions about how that should be handled and how long independence should be fostered and so on. So I just followed the manual and didn't think emotionally.
So she actually gave you some advice then, or she at least, based on her experiences, gave you an idea of what might be to come?
Yeah, not so much what might be to come, but, well, yes, I guess. She was absolutely committed to helping my grandmother, who was a BSN, a bachelor's in nursing, one of the first ever from her school that actually got a BS in the process. She was really proud of that. She was really, really proud of her education. She was born in the early 1900s. Actually, she was born in the late 1800s. And, came to her own in the early 1900s and went to nursing school then. So, and education was a fiercely important thing in my family. So she was fiercely proud of that. My mother was fiercely proud of her. And she wanted to help. She thought that she could help my grandmother intellectualize herself through it. Like, if you're really smart, you can do this, you can get past this because you're so smart. And so she treated my grandmother like she was able to be independent, and she wasn't. And my dad and I would argue with her and say, this has to stop. She didn't live far from our house. My mother would go over twice a day, have her take her meds, bring her meals, stuff like that. But she would leave meals on the table and forget to eat them. She'd leave the water running in the bathroom sink. She'd forget that there was a toilet if she needed to use it. She'd not remember to put on clothes or take off clothes or change clothes, so on and so forth. And that all shouldn't have been happening. I mean, it was an assault on her dignity. But my mother was trying. So I felt like I needed to do the same for her. Now, it was a little bit different context. For my grandmother, my grandfather was dead when this was happening. So it was just my mom and my dad and me who were caring for her. My dad died when I was younger, and my mom remarried, and it had been, I guess my assumption, not necessarily correct, that he would be caring for her. He was her husband. And later on, I found out that they had had discussions about that, and she was very emphatic with him that she did not want to become a burden to me, and that part of his responsibility was to care for her.